What are you doing here?
What am I doing here? What are you doing here? I belong here. You belong in Cold River. This is Mortville. What are you doing here? You're not here. That's it. That's the only answer. You're not here. Ha ha ha! You're not here. I'm imagining you. You're a figment of my imagination.
What's going on, everybody? How you doing today? Here I am in Valhalla, New York. I was here just recently. I did a video about Anne Bancroft. It's a very, very rainy day yet again here, just north of Manhattan. Kensico Gardens is the cemetery where Anne Bancroft is. Sharon Gardens is kind of connected to it. It's the Jewish part of the cemetery, and I'm here to visit the grave of the one and the only, and I don't say that too often, but really, when it comes to Gilbert Gottfried, there's nobody quite like Gilbert Gottfried. I'm going to tell you a little bit about his life. We're going to go to his grave, remember him. One of the funniest guys ever. He was a comedian's comedian. Like, he made comedians laugh, and that's a tough thing to do. But he was out there, one of the sharpest, quickest minds, and it's so sad that he died, last year, young. Sorry, I got interrupted by a car there. Left behind 2 kids, a wife. The Aristocrats. If you haven't seen the movie The Aristocrats, please see it. It's about a it's a documentary about a joke, and comedians telling a joke, one joke, and Gilbert steals the movie from everyone else easily. Problem Child, Aladdin, Howard Stern appearances. I fall asleep every night to Howard Stern, circa 2005, 2011 clips. That's what I listen to fall asleep. And Gilbert was a staple on the Howard Stern show. It was so funny. Made the whole studio laugh. And he's just Hollywood Squares. You fool! If you know that clip, you know what I'm talking about. Let's walk over to Gilbert's grave, find it, and pay our respects. So it's somewhere around here. I'm in that's Simon Drive. This is, let's see what the name of this section is. Park Avenue Synagogue. Okay, Park Avenue Synagogue. So he's somewhere right around here. I'm not exactly sure. I don't believe it's a giant headstone. I think it's a flat one. He was born in Brooklyn in 1955. He started doing stand-up at the age of 15, which is crazy to think a 15-year-old going on stage in front of adults and trying to make them laugh. Then he joined the cast of Saturday Night Live, and he was only on the 1980-81 season, I believe it was. He only did 13 episodes that season. He was in 12 of them. He joined the cast. Eddie Murphy was part of that cast, but Gilbert was given nothing to do, really. They didn't know how to use him. He had that voice. Gilbert Gottfried has a very famous voice, this one.
So I was in Beverly Hills Cop II. I was in Beverly Hills Cop II. I played the Jew in the film. It was a stretch for me.
But that's part of his act. So he spoke in his regular voice on Saturday Night Live. But his voice was part of his act, for sure. So he was not like an overnight success. He had to work really, really hard. But after he left Saturday Night Live, he started doing little improvised promos for MTV, and that put him on the radar and kind of got him towards this younger audience. Somewhere around, I'm just kind of wandering. And then Bill Cosby put him on the Cosby Show, and he made several appearances on that. Then he was on Late Night with David Letterman, Howard Stern, like I said, Jay Leno. He was just a staple of late night television and Hollywood Squares, which was the earlier. But he just go on those shows and do some crazy stuff. He was in Beverly Hills Cop II, Problem Child 2, Adventures of Ford Fairlane with, I don't know if you saw the movie with Dice Clay, Andrew Dice Clay. He was in it. Yeah, he wasn't afraid of controversy. He wasn't afraid of making the jokes that other people wouldn't make. He made I was gonna say he made a joke right after September 11th, 9/11. It was a little much, but that was Gilbert. He didn't really shy away from making crazy jokes. He made jokes about earthquakes, things like that. He got fired. He was the voice of the duck mascot for Affleck Insurance. He got fired because of some of his more dirty or controversial jokes, we'll call it. He had a book called Rubber Balls and Liquor. He was in A Million Ways to Die in the West, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And then in 2007, he married his wife, his partner at the time, Dana Kravitz, and they had 2 children. How did Gilbert die? A lot of people don't know how he died. He didn't disclose it. Nobody knew that he was sick. He was 67 years old. Like I said, that's not old. That's young. He had died from a rare genetic muscle disease that could trigger a dangerously abnormal heartbeat. So the cause of death, and I have it written on my hand, is ventricular tachycardia. And it's a rare form of muscular dystrophy. Tachycardia. Where is Gilbert? He should be around here somewhere. Sorry, I can't find him right away. What I like to do is I like to wander sometimes, even though I have a pin from Find a Grave. And I've been wandering while talking about Gilbert. Why am I not surprised? That's my best impression of him in the movie Aladdin. It's not the greatest, but I used to be able to do it really well, I think. But I think everybody thinks they can do impressions well, and they're not. Here he is, right here. Wow. Gilbert Gottfried, beloved comedian and family man. February 28th, 1955 to April 12th, 2022. Too soon. Isn't that the truth? Gilbert Gottfried is one of those faces and voices that you remember right away. You're like, oh, that guy. If you're not familiar with him, I think most people who follow pop culture, most people love comedians, know Gilbert Gottfried. Every comedian loved him. Chris Rock loved him. Jerry Seinfeld. Listen to the Howard Stern, Gilbert Gottfried, Jerry Seinfeld. Just Google that on YouTube, or YouTube that, whatever you type it into YouTube. Howard Stern, Gilbert Gottfried, Jerry Seinfeld. Hilarious. Comedians loved him. People loved him. But yeah, he's one of those, for the casual viewer or something. Some people will be like, who's Gilbert Gottfried, maybe? And then you see his face, like, oh. And then you hear his voice, you're like, oh, Gilbert Gottfried. One of the greats. I've been waiting to come out here, and I'm glad I did. Pay tribute to Gilbert Gottfried. Comes a train. Alright, rest in peace, Gilbert. Thanks for the laughs. God, he was so funny in both Problem Child movies. And I'm telling you, The Aristocrats, watch it. If you can take dirty humor, which I think you can if you watch my channel, I hope you can. Or if you're just new to my channel, you know, we can it's okay to laugh. Jokes. And that's what Gilbert was known for. Jokes. One after the other. He didn't change his act much. I was listening to that a while ago on Howard Stern. He didn't really update his act too much. He thought he had a good act. He stuck with it. He put in some new jokes here and there. But he just, he was on the fly. He just made jokes up, wherever he was. If he was a guest on a show, it was just jokes. Just constantly coming out of his mouth. And improv, and just amazing at it. He could just come up with crazy stuff. But if you saw him in a club or, like a little theater, probably the same act he'd been doing for a while. From what I heard. I never got to see him live. But yeah, he, one of the greatest minds, just so quick. Love Gilbert Gottfried. Gilbert Gottfried, rest in peace. He's right here, resting, I hope, peacefully. Thanks for watching, everybody. I love you all. Peace out. Is that train?
Oh, there's a big surprise. That's an impressive.
Why am I not surprised? I really want to yell that out right now. In that, he was the parrot, right? He was the parrot voice. I worked at a video store when Aladdin was out, or it was out on DVD or whatever. I worked at a video store, and I just constantly had to watch it. The owner of the store wanted that playing all the time, so I watched it all the time, and I would yell out that line along with him. Why am I not surprised? I can't do it. I'm sorry, Gilbert. That's not doing you justice at all. You are amazing. Love you, buddy.